Good morning, guys. Welcome back for week 2 of the Homemakers Challenge, where I am challenging myself to every day in December do something big or small, some kind of task to make my home a little bit more cleaner, and more organized. So last week I talked a little bit about the different reasons that I think make it hard, some of the reasons that a lot of us struggle with keeping up with this kind of thing. And the reason I wanted to talk about that is because it's easier to address and work on getting better at things when you know what's leading to the problem in the first place, right? And this week I want to talk about some of the reasons I want to get better at it, the reasons it's important to me, and there again, the reason I want to talk about that is because it's always easier to do anything and stick with it if you feel motivated, if you know the reasons behind doing it. So that's, a little bit more of a incentive to stick with it. So that's what I'm going to be talking about this week. Today is day 8, and we are in my closet. Today, this might not seem like a really big task, and it's not a lot of hands-on, but I'm going to be gone most of the day today. I'm going to visit my parents, and I'm doing several errands on the way there and back, so it could be fairly late when we get home. Don't really know, so I just want to do this morning. If I get home later and I want to do more, that's fine. But I have already several boxes and bags of stuff that have been sitting in my kitchen waiting for me to go donate them for quite a while now, several weeks. And I just haven't been near the place I need to take to donate them, and it's a little bit out of my way to go there today, but I'm going that general direction. So I'm going to actually load everything up and take it and donate it, but I'm also going to grab a few things out of my closet quickly to add to it, kind of things. Every time I come in here to look for something, I run past these things and think, oh yeah, I should really get rid of that because I never wear it, but I just haven't taken the time to come in and sort it out yet. So that's what I'm going to do, and talk about my first reason that this is important to me and I want to get better. So first off, the basic reason behind all of these other things I'm going to talk about this week is just that I want to do better for my family and for myself. And so the first thing kind of with that is just I want us to have a cleaner, more organized environment so that we can all just be more comfortable, not feel stressed. So when I'm in a really cluttered environment, that tends to make me feel, I get really overwhelmed. I talked about that being one of the reasons it can be hard to clean is just that overwhelmed feeling of just there's so much. Where do you even start? How do you even tackle something? So, when it's not like that to start with, you feel less overwhelmed. That helps. And also just having things more organized, and there are some things that are relatively well organized, and that helps me a lot with the stress, because when I need something and I can't find it, or I know it's there, but I just can't put my hands on it, that can be really stressful, especially in some situations. If you're on a time crunch, you need to find something quickly. We all know that can be so stressful. So I want that for all of us so that we feel more comfortable and we can find things when we need them. And, sometimes my organization, what I do have organized, doesn't necessarily look organized to the outside world, but that's okay. It doesn't have to necessarily make sense to other people, but having things organized so that we can find them, us who actually live there, that's just going to help us all it can, just, it's less stressful, things feel more streamlined, and you just feel more comfortable knowing that you can find things when you need them. So that is my reason for today, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab a few more things and get loaded up so we can get out of here and get our day started. I will see you guys maybe this evening, but if not, I'll see you tomorrow. Hi guys, today is day 9 and I'm actually really excited today. So back, not my week 1 video, but the one before that where I first talked about wanting to do this whole thing, I had mentioned during that this room that I'm standing in right now, that we were in the process of redoing that. So we had done all the painting and all that, but now we finally have the carpet down. Obviously, still gotta get all this out of the way, which is part of my task today. So now that we have the carpet down, there's been a lot of things kind of waiting on this happening. You got 2 pickles.
I got the wee one and the big one.
Good job. Cool. So now that that's down, I can move on. And, I had mentioned that being part of the problem, that the reason that the house is worse than normal right now is because a lot of the stuff that would be in this room is in other parts of the house, making it more cluttered than it would be otherwise. So now that this is done, I have a few tasks to finish up, little things like, I took the blades and the globe and everything off the fan light fixture so we can paint around that. The registers have to go back in. So a few little things like that. Oh, they had to, that door had to come off to get the carpet into that corner. So I have to put that back on, things like that, to finish up and get it ready so I can actually start getting some furniture in here so we can actually use it as a bedroom. So I also had to do a little bit of touching up on the paint. I did that this morning. I didn't film it because I was still in my pajamas. It was the first thing I did when I got up this morning. So that's done. I just have to work on some of these other little tasks this afternoon. So going to be working on those few things, getting the carpet scraps and stuff picked up and out of here. Got to vacuum it. I don't know if we'll actually get to putting furniture in here today. I would like to. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but I'm going to start working on these other things. And I don't think any of those are going to be super conducive to me talking while I'm doing them. So I'm just going to talk about my thing first, and then probably the rest of this is going to most likely be a time lapse. So my second reason that I want to work on getting better at this, that's important to me, is to have more time, because the way things are now, I feel like I'm spending a lot of time going around kind of putting out fires. You know that feeling when you just always feel like you're behind on everything and you're just trying to play catch up all the time, that you're just always behind, and you feel like you're kind of running in circles. Like I said, when things aren't well organized, you spend maybe a lot of time looking for things, and it just always kind of feels chaotic and overwhelming. And I think if I can get to a place where I am better organized and things, maybe I implement some new habits or strategies or get some tools, systems in place that help streamline some of these tasks that I struggle to get done, and get better at that. Even though, technically doing more tasks sounds like it would take more time, but if you get to the point where you aren't always just struggling to keep up and put out these fires, then I feel like I can spend more of my time doing things that are actually more meaningful. So that is my second reason, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm probably going to start with getting the blades and globe back up on our fan and light fixture here. Okay. Good morning, guys. Today is day 10. Today I'm going to shift into the kitchen, and I'm going to work on this. So this is going to be the first thing, get this cleared off, because I have to make a birthday cake and do some other cooking today, and this is my favorite prep area, so I'm going to get that cleared off. Made bread last night, gotta put that in the bread maker away. I also washed a bunch of eggs last night that I had to put away, as well as just some other stuff from the last couple days, cookie cutters and paintbrushes from doing salt dough ornaments and such. And then I will be doing the dishes. Those are not the main task, but that's just part of it. That's a daily thing I have to do, and it's in this area, so that's going to be part of it. Take out the trash. And then this corner over here, this corner is one, that other side of the counter I have to clear off fairly often because that's where I work the most. But over here, I used to have my dish drainer here, and this would be where all of the dishes that shouldn't or can't or whatever go in the dishwasher. And the thing is, that would not get emptied out very often, just out of necessity. I have to empty the dishwasher to reload it, but I don't necessarily have to empty the dish drainer just to add another piece or two to it that can't go in the dishwasher. So it would tend to accumulate. So I thought maybe it would help to remove the dish drainer, and it did a little bit. But I'm still having the issue where there are things here that are just kind of oddball stuff. That's the thing, the stuff that doesn't go in the dishwasher tends to be some of the oddball stuff that I just don't have a great place for. Not all of it, but like my drink dispenser here, that needs to get put up somewhere because I use it mostly in the summertime to make tea, and we're kind of done with that for the season, so I need to put that up. But then things that I don't really have a great designated place for, so it just usually kind of hangs out here until I need it again, like my wood cutting boards. I used to have plastic ones that fit underneath some bowls in my cupboard really easily, and I got rid of those and got these wooden ones, and those don't go there, and I haven't really taken the time to come up with a great place for them yet. So that's really what I need to do today, is to figure out a good place to put all this stuff, not just shove it somewhere, but figure out a place that it can go on a regular basis. So while I'm putting my eggs away, I just thought I would chat about my next reason of why this is important to me, which might sound a little bit redundant, but less stress on me personally, less stress and frustration. And this actually largely goes along with what I was just talking about having to find or create better like storage solutions and find designated places for things to go, or also maybe winnowing down some, getting rid of some things that I don't use often enough to justify, or that I have duplicates of, whatever. Because it does stress me out a lot to have all of these things that I don't know where to put them. That makes it really hard when I don't have a designated place to put them. So I, of course, first of all, obviously tend to avoid it. I just kind of leave the pile there and until I need to. But then when I do need to clear it out, like I'm going to clear it out today, it can feel really stressful to go through that and be like, I don't know where to put any of this stuff. So especially when you're in a time crunch situation, you've got people coming over, or you need the space to do a project, whatever, and it can be very stressful. And what often ends up happening then is I just put it in the nearest available like empty spot, and then of course I just have to deal with it all over again when I need that spot. So I think it'll be less stressful for me if I have some designated places to put these things, so I'm not always putting myself in that position. So yeah, anyway, going to clear off this counter so I can get started on things I need to do today, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Hi guys, today is day 11 and I am in my mudroom today. So those of you who saw my first video there where I did the whole walk around of the house before I cleaned anything, this was, had a whole big pile of boxes here. Finally got those taken out yesterday for recycling day, along with that tote hanging under there on the right. That was all like cans and bottles and stuff, so that all got emptied yesterday for recycling. And now that I can actually walk through here, I want to work on cleaning up this space a little bit. Obviously need to organize my coat rack here and stuff, and there's a lot of my toddler shoes and stuff over here, things that I need to go through, because I think a lot of them don't fit her anymore, so I need to go through that. I need to clear off that shelf, and I generally need to get this cleaned up so I can use this space better, because I really need to make the most of the space that I do have for storing things to free up some space in other areas of the house. So I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to get done today. I basically have as long as nap time lasts, whatever that is. So gonna start by sorting out these shoes while we chat for a few minutes. So my next reason that this is important to me, that I want to get better at these housekeeping tasks, is that I want to be a better host and to make hosting easier and less stressful for me. Now, I'm not a super highly social person. It's not like I entertain all the time, but we do have friends and family come over, sometimes, and I really don't like feeling like my house is a mess and I'm being judged. Now, it's not like I've ever had anybody walk into my house and say, wow, your house is such a mess. I mean, I don't have friends that would, the kind of friends that would say that, but I always feel self-conscious about it. And when I know people are coming over, especially when it's short notice, it's always stressful because I'm going around trying to like clean up things last minute and make it a little bit better, at least pick up the living room, at least make sure the bathroom's clean and this and that. And then even once I've done that, I still feel self-conscious about what I didn't get to, and it makes it so that I can't even enjoy it as much when people are here, just because I'm worried about that, even though in my head I know it's not that they're worried about it, but it's me, because I feel like my home is a reflection of myself, and so that kind of comes along with it. So and part of doing this is accepting that it is okay for my house not to be perfect, and it's never going to be perfect. So it's kind of a twofold approach there, where I'm just trying to be calmer and less insecure about it on my own, but also trying to do better about it, because it's just like a two-sided thing, right? So anyway, there is that. I'm gonna finish going through these shoes, and then I'm just gonna do whatever else I can in this corner in the little bit of time I have. I'm probably not gonna finish it today. I'm just gonna work on it and do whatever I can, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hi guys, today's day 12. Sorry if I'm squinting, the sun's like shining right at me. Today I'm back in the mudroom. I'm just trying to clear off this other part of the shelf today, and I would also like to get all the stuff from underneath it moved, because I'd like to put in another shelf under there sometime. That probably won't happen today, but I'd like to do that sometime, so I'd just like to get underneath it emptied out so I can access that to do it. But anyway, the next reason I wanted to talk about why this is important to me to get better at this is yesterday I talked about hosting, just being less stressful and more comfortable having people over to our house. So this goes right along with that, and that's hosting in a digital sense. So that's you guys. I want to be more comfortable filming in the house. You know, I had mentioned that I have, there have been times in the past where I wanted to do a video inside. You know, a lot of stuff, what I do is outside gardening and farm related stuff, but there have been times where I wanted to film a canning project or cooking or whatever, and I just didn't because, you know, the kitchen was cluttered, and I didn't want the potential, you know, criticism or comments. And also, I mean, there are very practical reasons for wanting a less cluttered space for filming. You know, it can just be kind of distracting when you're trying to watch something. And so anyway, that is that. I want to, and again, part of this is just getting more comfortable and just working on my excuse me, working on being less insecure and concerned about people making comments, but I do also just want a cleaner, less cluttered space that's more conducive to filming and sharing things when I feel inclined to do so. So, gonna work on that, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Hi guys, today is day 13. Today we spent pretty much all day over at the farm where our cows are, building a shed for them. So that was most of the day, and then we came home and made dinner and got my daughter ready for bed and everything, and a few other cleanup tasks and stuff. And right now it's 10 o'clock and I'm pretty tired, and I really don't want to do anything, but I'm going to anyway. I'm going to let myself off with a pretty quick and easy task tonight. I'm just gonna reorganize my little spice shelf here over top of the sink. So I'm gonna pull everything down, wipe it down, remove any duplicates or other things that don't belong up here, like eye drops, and then put everything back. So my reason that I wanted to talk about today, about why getting better at all this is important to me, first came up for me as a matter of faith and a Bible study thing. So there's a parable that Jesus tells in Matthew 25, the parable of the three servants, if you're not familiar. And I'm not going to read the whole thing just for time's sake, but the basic moral of all of it is basically summed up in verse 29, which says, "To those who use well what they are given, even more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who do nothing, even what little they have will be taken away." So this came up for me, I don't know, several months ago, and it really struck me and is something that I've thought about a lot since then. And one thing that I think is pretty cool about it is, even if you don't want to look at it as a matter of faith, it even makes a lot of sense by just human logic. And you know, we can see a lot of examples of this in, you know, in the world, right? Basically this idea that those who have the ability to manage well what they do have, generally what they have will increase and multiply over time, and those who do not manage well what they have those who don't take responsibility for what they have tend to lose it, right? That's why people, we see people who win the lottery and a few years later they're broke again. That's why we see people who inherit generational wealth, but who have never learned how to work for anything or who've never learned how to manage money well, that they will often end up being the end of that generational wealth. So it's easy to see examples of this. But to me, I, read that and I started really thinking about it and how that kind of applied to me. And I thought, what if I had everything I wanted tomorrow? What if tomorrow, I'd really like to have a bigger house and more land at some point. And there's nothing wrong with wanting that. But I think it's easy to fall into thinking that if I just had the bigger house, if I just had more land, if I just had more space, if I just had this certain thing, that it would fix everything for me and all of a sudden I would be good at these things. And, not that having those things wouldn't help us sometimes, right? Of course, having more space can be helpful and having certain tools can be helpful and all that. I'm not saying it's not. And, having more money to work with initially can make things easier. It can make it easier to expand. It can, having more money can save you money. If you have the ability to buy things outright rather than having to take out a loan and pay interest and all that. So not discounting that these things are helpful, but it can be easy to fall into that thinking that, well, it's just because I don't have those things that I'm not already successful or whatever, and that, none of this is in my own control. So I thought about that and I thought, okay, what if tomorrow somebody gave me, say, 100 acres and a house that was twice as big as the one I have now? Do I really think that I would be in a position to manage it well if I'm not doing everything I can to manage well what I already have? And of course that can apply to a lot of things, but specifically for the purpose of this video talking about housekeeping, okay? If I had a house that was twice as big as I have now, sure, I'd have more space to store things, but if I'm not keeping up well with, keeping this one clean and well organized and all that, what makes me think I could do that with more stuff or more space? So, that's something that's become really important to me, is really looking at that and taking responsibility for doing the best and the most I can with what I do have now. That doesn't mean I can't still want to have more at some point. It just means that I need to practice these skills and habits now so that when I do get those more things eventually, that I will be able to take better care of it and manage and steward that better. So that's my reason for today. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off my shelf here and put everything back, and then I'm probably gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hi guys, day 14, and as we wrap up week 2, I am in I don't even know what to call this room. This is a little room between my mudroom and my bathroom is there, and there's a storage closet over here. So this room, the dog pen is in, and I have a shelf over here with some of my canned goods and stuff on it. And also this that I'm sitting right next to here is my hot water tank, which unfortunately is a flat surface, which in my house means it tends to accumulate stuff. And it's also a taller than average flat surface, which means it tends to accumulate a lot of the stuff that I want my toddler to not get into, like, bug spray and cleaners and things like that. But it's gotten a bit out of hand, and really just need to find a better place for this stuff. Since also, as she is getting bigger and knows how to use a step stool now, this isn't even really safe anymore. So I'm going to try to clear this off today, and then we'll chat here in just a minute. So, my last reason that I wanted to talk about this week, about why this is important to me, is fostering contentment and gratitude within my current situation. So yesterday I talked about wanting to do better as far as working on my abilities and my management of what I already have. And so this is more kind of how I'm managing that within my mind and my heart. So for a long time, I kind of mistakenly would conflate contentment, the idea with being content, with being like complacent. So I would, and you know, it's not like I didn't ever feel content or you know, happy within my situation, but it's more like I almost felt like there would be kind of some guilt, I guess, that came with it, or that's probably not the greatest word, but I would feel like that was in conflict with any desire to do better. I would feel like if I say that I'm just really happy with the way things are now, that's not going to leave me with any desire or ambition to work hard to you know, get to a better place. And so now I realize that was not an accurate or healthy way of looking at that, because you can, not only can, you should be able to be happy and content and find joy and be grateful for where you are, even while you can still be working toward improvement. And again, like how I was talking about yesterday, about the idea that if tomorrow I had everything I wanted, would that make me any happier than I am today? And I mean, sure, we all get excited when we get things that we've been working toward. But first of all, you don't usually feel as excited if you haven't put in the work to get there, but that's kind of a whole separate conversation. But if you can't look around and find happiness and be grateful for the things that you have already, because we've all got things. I mean, you know, I'm not, again, trying to minimize the fact that everybody has problems too, but if you're choosing to focus on that and you're not choosing to look at the good of what you have, whatever that may be, whatever your situation is, are you ever going to find that if you can't find it where you are now? Because circumstances change, right? They change all through our lives. And even when we get the things that we think we wanted, or we do want, that doesn't mean that we might not still have other circumstances that can make life difficult. But it's really all about your attitude, right? Because you can be happy with a little bit, or you can be miserable with a lot. Then that's a choice. So that's a choice I'm trying to make, and I'm also realizing that not only is it not, that doesn't work against me having ambition to seek more, because it doesn't mean that I can't want for more and work towards having more. It never means that. But what it does mean is that I'm working on being content where I am and making the most of where I am, doing everything I can with what I currently have and getting the most joy out of that, so that I'm building these skills and these habits so that I will be more effective in working towards the things I want. And when I get them, I know I will be able to find the happiness in that also, regardless of what my other life circumstances might be. So with that, I am going to go ahead and wrap up this week, and we will be back for more next week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.